Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Didier from ToutSuite Social Club. Tonight, I have the privilege, of having three of my very good friends here from Napa Valley. And I'm going to start from the left, sorry, Pam. But Jeff Smith from Hourglass and the Blue Line Vineyard. Pam Starr from Crocker and Starr. And round with Juan Mercado. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show. It's going to be a quick one. It's going to be a quick one tonight, about 20 minutes, and we're going to be drinking some great wine and some other things. And the reason of this show is eventually we'll be doing a show with each of them in September. And I just want a couple of things I want to check out with them is first of all, the Harvest 2013, how does it look like? You happy?
It's still looking really good. As a matter of fact, I started Harvest, so I'll just jump right in. On August 15th, I started my 30th harvest with 2.8 tons of Sauvignon Blanc. 30. This is my 30th year in the business. I know. I'm going to have a big party after harvest. You guys have to pay attention because I will open up really great bottles from my wine cellar, other than mine, but. It'll be other countries. And mine, yes, but other countries as well. So there's really nothing exciting to report about highs and lows of the growing season. It's been very mild, and mild typically lends itself to greatness. I think right now numbers are ahead of development of flavor. From last year. 2 previous years. Right. So my harvest began 17 days ahead of my 10-year average. Mm-hmm. And the last
for
10
whites.
For whites.
Do you think the reds will lag, or do you think the reds will be ahead of schedule?
Well, the past 10 days we've had subnormal temperatures, very cool, but we haven't had deep plunging temperatures at night, so everything has slowed down, and it's allowed the acids to kind of tame while the sugars have stayed exactly where they are. As a matter of fact, some of the numbers went backwards. Mm-hmm. So we're going to still be early. We're not going to be 4 weeks early. We'll be somewhere in that 14-day range. Yeah. But there's red harvest. I was at a winery in Oakville today, and they pulled in Grenache. So wow. So there is harvest happening of red grape varieties, and it's definitely an early year.
How about you, Juan? What is your...
No, I actually spoke to Benoit about it this morning, and we're looking at probably 2 weeks. We're trying to push things back 2 weeks for fruit coming from Calistoga, some Merlot.
How can you push back things? Tell me about it.
Well, it's
stop. You just tell the plan. Knock it off.
No, I mean.
Okay, guys, I'm not ready for you. I've got 3 more parties to go to. I've got a weekend in
I got a tank full. I can't.
Obviously, you want some hang time, so by adding a few drops of water here and there, there's a couple of things. And the weather, obviously, ultimately, it's Mother Nature. Yeah. Right now, it's cooperating. So I think it's looking early, but not as early as people initially had said. So we're looking at Merlot from Calistoga and some Cabernet from probably St. Helena first, and followed by some Sauvignon Blanc down in Tombstone. So.
How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, whenever we start this in the spring, we always have these great projections of whether we're going to be early or late or whatever, and I'm always amazed at how self-regulating grapevines are, and they tend to, catch up or slow down or whatever. I think the next 7 days or so looks pretty cool. That'll slow things down a little bit. I think we will be a little on the early-ish side, but I don't think we're going to be radically early. We have, Blue Line is a little warmer site, so that one is, probably going to be a little ahead of schedule. Hourglass Estate, a little cooler site, so that'll probably, lag a bit, which is good. If we can get it to slow down and hang out and develop more of the phenolic ripeness and keep our sugars and acids in balance while we do that, then I think it's going to be a pretty killer harvest, but a lot can go wrong between now and then.
It's not going to go wrong. In fact, we're actually really staged. We're staged for we are early period that's already happening. So not as early as predicted. I totally agree. In fact, we parallel the Southern Hemisphere. So there's a couple companies that work both hemispheres, and their services to the industry. And they said that we are definitely, we follow. Mm-hmm. So when we had 2011 wet year, it was very wet in Australia. And it was very, very early in Australia this year. And it's actually not as early as we thought, but it's definitely early. Yeah. And crop ripeness is relatively uniform.
Yeah, that's
which is
the most important thing, really.
It's a shocker. It's
Yeah.
almost as if, wait a second, is it complicated enough out in the vineyard for the dynamics to be? I think sometimes, you do too much thinking when you're waiting for fruit. And with such a uniform crop, and color development has been absolutely gorgeous. And seeds, I haven't seen seed development this early on in sugar numbers. So
Yeah.
unlike other years where we've made great wines, but we talk about stripes on colors of seeds, which also lead to different tannin dynamics. So I think we're really primed for just an amazing vineyard experience, vintage experience.
If you guys had to compare this vintage 2013 the way it is now, what the other vintage people can kind of refer to? I mean, like, are we talking like something like a 97?
2007 and 97.
Oh, is that right?
It's perfect. No
I
kidding.
think those vintages were
Well,
10 on the warm.
Don't get me
Yeah,
started on
10 on the warmer
97.
side,
You
though.
better
No, 07. I was going to say it's okay.
I'd go
Yeah.
01.
01?
Yeah.
2001?
Yeah, an amazingly balanced vintage, to Pam's point. Not quite as warm as 97 or 07 with those, in 07 we had some major league heat spikes in 07. We had, at Blue Line, we had an 11-day period where it was over 107 degrees.
Right.
And we had one day that was 117 degrees, and we haven't had anything remotely close to that this
But we
year.
did, but we had it at the beginning of the year.
But it
Before
was- it
Verasion,
never-
before
before.
Verasion,
Yeah.
which is,
Which
those heat spikes are
And
critical.
it wasn't,
No.
it was not a duration of overwhelming exhaustion to the plant.
Right.
So
No.
don't forget, we
It was
had.
quick. It was
and-
kind of-
No, I was gonna say,
and we
'cause I've
needed
never
it because we
seen-
got the rain and the plants were going nuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a little bit of heat, barely 102?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and reasonably cool
Yeah.
in the evenings, not like, 07, it would be 107 in the afternoon and it would be 85, 90 degrees at night, which is really unusual for Napa Valley.
Very.
So I tend to think that this is, got lots and lots of potential to be a great vintage.
So let's go back a couple decades and see if we can, because I believe this vintage is pretty unique. We haven't seen one like this. I believe Jeff's right. 01, pretty much we have a good crop set. So we could go back to 96 and we'd say, okay, there were no highs and lows. It was a textbook growing season, but the crop was really low. So if you go back to 91, and it was a plethora of fruit hanging out there. It was just a lot of fruit, more than this vintage, but no highs and lows, a little bit cooler and very extended. So you have a little bit of 91, a little bit of 2001, and you end up with the unique one of 2013.
Yeah.
Yes, it's right. Like, compared to you guys, I don't know. She's been making wine for 30 years. I mean, so she can go back.
That's why I have to wear my glasses all the
Like,
time. I can't see anything.
And
You know.
that's awesome. So ask the winemakers to come up with something besides the wines that we really enjoy to drink. And we're starting with a nice little champagne from France, champagne. And this is what one likes to drink when he's not drinking rum. And
He was not drinking rum?
well, no, we're not.
Did you say
Well,
realm?
what's that French
We're-
accent?
Yeah.
Oh, I can translate that. Realm.
Realm, no.
Realm.
So DDA had said, the one of the subjects of the show would be bring something that you like to enjoy, and what I typically have around the house is champagne, because it's first of all, I love it. It's always an amazing wine, and it's so vastly different from what we do here in Napa. And for me, I appreciate wines from all over the world. I just want them to be great, whether it's a German Riesling or an Austrian Grün or whatever. I love it all. But I find myself I tend to start my Sunday with a bottle of champagne, and I always end the day with a bottle
Cheers.
of
Cheers.
champagne.
Cheers.
Hey, thank you for making the time, guys. I really appreciate
Cheers.
it.
Absolutely.
Cheers,
Yeah, thank you.
And you know what? The three of us haven't gotten to be in the same place at the same time
I
for
know. Good to
quite a
see you.
while. So
Happy harvest, guys. Happy
Well,
harvest.
happy
harvest.
Good job.
Am I
Yeah.
supposed to? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
I mean, have you ever had a bad day that started with a glass of champagne?
I can't recall
Yeah,
one. No,
very
I
rare.
really can't.
Well, the day's always better if you start with a glass of champagne, I should say.
So you guys are going to be coming back. You'll be coming back in a few weeks from now, and I'm going to start with you because it will be the first one on deck, and it's going to be September 26th, and Juan will be coming up, and we will be testing those wines. What vintage are we will be doing?
So we're going to be tasting, we're in this Well, in September, we're releasing our 2011 blends, so really excited about them, and I figured this would be a good way to taste through some of the wines and kind of tell you a little bit about them. So I'm really stoked about it. Everyone talks, it's one of those vintages that I say excuse me here, but it's like where I say the saying is that men are separated from the boys. It's really a challenging vintage, and it really, it is. I mean, you know what I mean. It really.
Poor Juan, he's struggling with this right now.
No, but I'm sure you've had to deal with it, and it's a great. It's one of those vintages that really you had to really focus on what you did in the vineyard and focus on what you did in the wine cellar in order to make really great wines. And I think you'll really see much more separation amongst the producers than you would in a vintage like 2012, or a vintage where it's a little bit more forgiving. So it's my 2 cents.
Your 2 cents are good. Those are good. Those are good. I'll throw in a nickel on top of that.
Well, that's true. So 11 was very challenging, and was it challenging from all in California, or that was just in the specific areas, or what was it?
We just buy fruit from the Napa Valley, but it was definitely just from talking to Andy Beckstoff or people like that have a lot of experience. They saw stuff in 2012 in 2011 that said they had never seen before. So that's all I can go by.
I think there are two. I mean, there's a lot that goes on in a vintage, but I think there were two, and Pam's gonna, I'm sure, speak eloquently about this more so than I, but I think there were two really telltale things about that vintage. Number one, it was a cooler vintage, start to finish. The second thing is that we got early rains in October, and we had tule fog. I've grown up here. I've lived here all my life, and I've never seen tule fog in that concentration. And so botrytis mold became an issue for certain vineyards. And I think that, to Juan, your point, that a real separation in terms of winemaking technique and so forth, I think you're going to definitely see the winemakers who had more experience be able to navigate those waters a little bit better. I also think that you're going to see a real defining element of vineyard sites, because the sites had a huge impact on what you could and could not do relative to completing your ripeness. So if you had sites that had really rich, loamy clay soils that held a lot of water, those sites tended to off-gas more tule fog. If you have really well-drained, gravelly sites, they're going to have a different reaction to that. And airflow is really, really important in terms of concentration fog and so forth. So I think those are some of the issues that affected the 2011 vintage, and all the winemakers had really different reactions to how to deal with that.
So I guess, I'm going to jump again. This is a little bit what we'll be talking about. That's what we'll be testing in October 9th with Hourglass. So we'll be testing the Hourglass and the Blue Line.
Yeah, no, we're just going to taste the Blue Line release. So our fall release is the Blue Line release, and I assume, Pam, you'll probably release your 11s around the same time period, but I don't know what you're going to talk about in your allotted hour. But no, we will cover and talk about the 11 vintage specific to what happened at the Blue Line estate, and taste some of those wines.
All right. But so what we'll be doing with Pam. So Pam is coming up on September 30th. And we'll be talking about your new release. Are you releasing 11, or if I were to go to the winery, what would it be testing?
Well, right now we're releasing the 2010 Cabernet Sauvignon. So
2010.
Yeah. Well, then that's actually very normal. That's what all of the people who are not
so those guys are
advanced. Well, don't forget, he's not releasing the Hourglass 11. He's releasing the Blue Line.
11.
So my big 35-year-old vine Cabernet Sauvignon is released now in September, and then I'm going to show a pre-release of my 2011 Cabernet Franc. And just as my pals here have suggested, 2011s, there's a lot to talk about. And there's a lot to talk about from a grower's perspective. There's a lot to talk about from a collector's perspective. And there's a lot to just tell you about what the taste is like. So I went to a big tasting last night after there was a big tasting. Anyway, so there were a lot of 11s there. And I have to say that back in 1989 was the really only other vintage in the last 30 years that we had a significant amount of rain. And those wines got dogged from their release, and they were absolutely, 10 years later, absolutely gorgeous wines. And to this day, they're alive and beautiful.
Yep.
And what I tasted yesterday with pre-release of 2011s, there is a lot to be excited about and not to be skipping. Wines that we can get into right away, we're lacking them right now. We've had very big vintages. We had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is more elegant maybe, but it still needs and requires time. So with that amount of wine we have to stick in our cellar and age, we're going to be allowed to get into these 11s. They're going to be a little bit more generous to us, and they're going to give us a good full body, but they're not going to be as stacked with tannins.
And then you have 12 and 13 coming up.
12, that's right, that's right. So I'm going to show my 11 Franc, which is a little preview, 10 Cabernet Sauvignon, the 35-year-old vines, and then I always bring my Sauvignon Blanc because it's always nice to have a little refreshing moment at the end of a tasting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I might even bring a surprise wine, something that I planted, like some Malbec. I'll bring the Malbec.
So, news in Napa Valley. News in Napa Valley.
I know, we should talk about
What you guys think about, the acquisition from, the group from, owning Latour, Chateau Latour, and getting Arajo. And I think this is good. I mean, I think this is good for the region, certainly, and especially, and when I say for the region, I'm going to go like a microclimate almost, and I'm going to go like it's good for Calistoga.
Well, I mean, I think in a days like, when you look at the last few years, there's been a lot of, obviously a lot of some of the larger companies that are going in and buying in a lot of the smaller brands. For Chateau Latour to come into the Napa Valley, I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah.
I think it only brings, I mean, obviously they see something in Arajo, which Islay Vineyard is one of the most famous vineyards, and it's got a great history. And for them to come in, it's just a testament to the Napa Valley, I think, in general, and what they see in terms of it having a great future. So I thought it was extremely positive.
The Valley, or Napa, California in general, is not a local farmer grown any longer. It hasn't been since wine went publicly stock held, winery owned, 100% winery owned, public stock held in the late 80s. And with the economic times that were exciting in the 90s, we brought wealth from all over the world. So we're really looking at an international scene here in Napa Valley. Actually in California, Oregon, Washington, we're an international wine scene, and I think that is nothing but really, really positive. We will be able to segue our wines to other countries much more easily, I think. It'll be much more dynamic.
But isn't it like so it feels like, everything is for sale, really. I mean, when you have like a big companies like between, China coming up, and which is like great, and you have France coming up and things like that. What you really think what you really think that the direction of the boutique wineries? I mean, are you guys for sale?
I'm not for sale. I have a husband. I think he'd be really pissed off if I sold myself.
You know what?
Look,
Listen, if the three of us were into making a ton of money, we would have gone into some other line of work. This is not the type of line of work that you go into, make a quick 5-year, 10-year, high return on your investment and so forth. This is a generational play.
You like pain.
It's, you know what, you have to be either a little stupid or a little thick-skinned for this business, for sure. But I think it's a generational thing. I mean, I think that you come in here and it takes, the lead times of figuring out these estates are so long that it takes quite a bit of time to figure them out and unlock them. And that's not something you do overnight. So I don't think, the other two can speak for themselves, but I don't think any one of us got in this business to do a quick turnaround and sell our wineries.
So quick turnarounds don't exist in the wine business anyway.
I'm very curious, what you got in the box here?
Oh,
well, you asked me to.
No. It's just I want to keep going the conversation, but then I want to see what is in the bloody box here.
Well, the mandate that I got was to bring something that inspires us, that we drink on a regular basis, and
bring it on.
So forth. So and I brought enough to share with everybody.
That is not an American beer any longer.
It is, oh, that's true, it's not actually.
What is it?
But however,
the Belgium.
that's right, was it bought by Heineken or? I don't know.
But the
I can't
Belgium,
remember.
See, Pam, that was that simple.
Belgique, they own this now. This is, it was that simple. I'm still
this
getting
is-
dogged
I
for
mean-
not bringing, I'm so sorry I didn't bring a beverage for you all, but I brought beverages in my phone. I can show you pictures of what I am
Pam did
drinking.
say that she was gonna bring a bottle of Margot, and I'm a little disappointed.
So she has to drink, when she's done
But,
drinking Crocker and Starr.
we got a six-pack of Bud, who needs the Margot? I mean, come on.
This is such a beautiful new package. Do you think that the,
This
It looks like a
this
Marlboro package.
This is
It does.
real winemaking right here. I
It
mean,
reminds me of Marlboro.
Actually,
All right,
putting
I'm
in
in.
Mexican beer.
cheers.
yeah, exactly.
Cheers.
Oh, look at Juan. Come on, Juan. Jesus Christ. Look at this thing.
It's a habit.
Okay, all right.
This is a man's beer, and Pam will drink it right along with us. And so,
It's been my job to do that since I started this business.
So anything else going on for you guys? I mean, about this fire in Yosemite. I mean, like, you think like, if the wind were to change, let's say like, the fire is massive. If the
It is
wind
massive,
were
so
to
you're saying.
change and come back, more west, would it impact, for instance, 2013?
what do you think about 2003? Remember
That's the fire.
You mean the
Big
2008? Oh, let's see.
Was it
flying
2008?
over.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
it's
God.
happening this is not like, yeah.
So
No,
sad.
but all of the
2008 was the smoky fire.
smoke
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
That
Smoky
was-
fire.
I was flying over
Look
it
at
3
that.
days
Wow,
ago.
that's amazing.
Unbelievable. So
That's crazy.
sorry.
So we're talking about the Yosemite fire.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're talking about the Yosemite
You
fire.
want to zoom in on it? Or?
And will that have any impact if the
Yeah.
wind shifts?
No, it will impact the harvest right now at this point.
I think that-
where you guys are,
You have to see, you would have to time how long it takes for a smoky air environment to taint the berry skins. And that's what happened in 2008 in certain regions. The smoke has to stay a certain percentage of time for it to really be effective, and it has to have the moisture content. So there's some science involved with smoke taint. I wouldn't want that smoke to come this way, so
but the ashes and all that, like things
I
are
want
coming
the,
up. I mean, they're
I
talking
want the
about
fire
like,
to go out.
but
So far, we're tracking really well.
Typically, I mean, but the good thing is it's the location where it's at. It's north of us. I mean, it's south of us and it's east of us. So we've got that going for us. That
Yeah, most of for those of you who don't live here, most of the winds will come off of the Pacific Ocean and they'll go west to east. And it would take a lot to have an offshore breeze, which we, sometimes we'll get it, but it's pretty uncommon. So I think that the risk of that is pretty low, all things considered.
Let's just get the fire to go out. It's, we have the
For a
entire
lot of
San
reasons,
Joaquin
yeah.
Valley that's like a big shifting funnel, and just as Jeff said, it takes wind, and
Yeah.
it's not likely the fires would have to be closer, but it's time for that fire to stop.
all right, the best restaurant in Napa Valley for you now, right now. Cook,
Red.
Red.
I love red. I love red. I live in Yountville, so it's easy. I love it.
Yeah, actually, but the bar at Red.
Yes.
Oh my
bar-
God,
the bar
bacon Bloody
menu-
Marys, that's what I'm drinking these
and no,
days.
but it's
On
the
Sundays,
bar
11
menu
a.m.
at Red.
What did
is
you pick?
Insane. I picked Cook.
Cook. Yeah,
I'm,
I love.
I'm a Santa Lena guy, so I had to go with the local.
I
The
cooked
local.
on
But
Saturday night.
Red
It was
is
fantastic.
spectacular.
Well, if you haven't eaten at the bank lately, you get the benefits of having Chef Ben Frank at Le Toque, and at the bank, you get simple plates, and they are great. End of the day, 3-course, small, simple plates that you can just wear your harvest sweaty clothes and have a great glass of wine by the glass. I've got a great list. And then watch all the people staying at the hotel. So a lot of people watching there. Very fun.
You're a hack when it comes to golf. Where do you like to go hack when you go play? In Napa Valley.
Emphasis
The
on
Napa
emphasis on
Valley,
hack.
the Napa Valley
I might have to
Country
have another
Club.
sip of this.
The Napa Valley Country Club. I think this is the most beautiful little club in Napa Valley. I mean, if you can get in, I mean, this is great. It's challenging. I don't need any challenge, but it is pretty cool.
Is there?
This is nice little club there. I really enjoy it.
It's really beautiful too.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, you have some heights. You're looking at wineries and vineyards and things like that. You're looking at like a Coombsville appellation. So the Napa Valley Country Club is on the east side of Napa,
A little cooler.
And it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just really, I enjoy it. So what about you?
Yountville. I love the driving range. But like you, I don't have much of a game, so I don't go out there and actually.
Take the club for a walk, you know, just like, come on. You know, Ray, how about you? You play golf?
Well, I haven't played in a while. My thumb was almost severed off in a ship door accident about 3 months ago.
In a what?
In a ship, I was on a cruise ship. I took my wine club members on this cruise from Barcelona to Monte Carlo.
Oh, wow.
We on the night that we did.
That's what you do for your membership?
Yeah, we had a blast. I did
You
wine
picked up
dinners
the
for
tab.
them. No, I did not pick up the tab. They came along on their own bill, that's for sure. So, but when I play, I like Juan. I think the driving range at Yountville off the grass, nothing better. I love the grass there, and it's just looking up.
You gotta try the grass in Napa Valley Country Club.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you play golf?
I'm not a golfer, but
You play music. You don't,
yeah,
you know.
give me a guitar and we're all good.
Yeah.
All right, our members, by the way, we're going to we're going up the Napa Valley River next month, so come and join us. We're going big.
Canoeing?
Canoeing, exactly.
You know what? You two are perfect candidates for Silver Seas. I'm surprised that Michael has not approached both of you, because it is one of the most fun working vacations I've ever done. I've done it twice. The first one I went from Venice to Istanbul, and then this past year was Barcelona to Monte Carlo, and I'm looking at a river cruise that might go to Germany out through the Netherlands, and
Nice.
so it's unbelievable. You get so many people to sign up, and then all of a sudden your room is paid for, and you're just donating some wine, and then all of a sudden a few more people sign up, and then they start buying wine from you, and it's a blast.
Wow.
It was really fun.
All right, guys. So we're gonna cut it off now. I mean, that's 25 minutes about, and I'm so excited to see you coming up in the next few weeks. It's gonna be fantastic. Although, I have to admit, I ready to hang out with Juan, where we're drinking champagne, and then next I will go for Jeff, but wiser, and then
You can do that and not cry.
we're drinking.
Well,
Water.
I'm just building the
Whoa.
anticipation.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming. Guys, I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate it, and
Cheers,
I wish you the
cheers,
best
cheers. Oh, yeah, I
harvest
should have
and
had milk.
many
I'm so
100
sorry.
points
There we
for all the wine you're making this year, and I see you in a few weeks from now, and we catch up, and on the harvest, it goes for you, and the test, some of the 2011,
Lots
and
to
some
tell.
2010. It's gonna be fantastic,
It's gonna be great.
guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.